A lot of people don't really know about your background. You've done some Q&As and we know the stuff that you do preach on your channel, and it's a lot of good stuff. But I actually wanted to start off by you going into your journey with credit cards and how you've told me on the side where it was kind of rough, and you had to, and even in your videos you've been in credit card debt. You had scores very low, maybe four or five hundreds, and you were able to break yourself out of that. And I think a lot of people would love to hear that and how you got to where you are now. So if you don't mind, yeah, go into your start with debt and all of that.
Oh yeah, I can definitely get into that. I started really early. Well, I won't say really early. Probably about the same as anybody else. 18, 19-year-old getting credit cards. I'm 50 years old right now, so excuse me if I don't
You're
remember how long ago
50?
it was.
You're
I'm 50,
50?
man.
What?
50 years old, man.
I
Yeah,
did not think. I was like maybe
yeah,
39, 39,
yeah.
40. Wow.
50 years old, man. Yeah.
Damn.
So I started off back in the day with a dealer's credit card, my very first credit card. I actually at the time didn't know one single person. Let me take that back. One of my friend's mother had a credit card. She was the only person that I actually knew who physically had a credit card. Of course, I knew credit cards. I knew what credit cards were. I just didn't know anyone who actually used them,
Yeah.
right? So I used to frequent dealers in a certain mall that I used to go to when I lived in Cleveland. And the cashier just sold me on getting the dealer's credit card. You know how they do 10% off with the
Mm-hmm.
purchase. You get the credit card. I
Yep.
go ahead. I don't know what my credit score is. I don't know anything about. I'm not even thinking about a credit score. I don't know anything about it.
Yeah.
I'm just applying for the card. I got the 10% off, but it just put something in my head like, okay, I can get credit cards. I
Yeah.
go, I get a Target credit card. Why I get a Target credit card? I don't know because I know I can get credit cards now, right?
Right.
I, I
Mm-hmm.
get a Target credit card. I get a Best Buy credit card. I get a company. I don't know if HSBC is still around. I think Capital One bought their credit cards, if I'm not
Hmm.
mistaken.
Yeah.
But I got two HSBC credit cards. I had two Capital One credit cards.
Mhm.
I had a Discover credit card. Before they would discover it, it was a black card with orange writing on it that just said Discover, right?
Oh.
Yeah. I mean, this is back when Discover, you can actually get cash from Discover in a check.
Hmm.
Like literally, they would send you checks and you can use them for as cash. Yeah.
Really? Wow.
Right. So everything sounds fine and dandy, but like I say, I don't know anything about credit cards, right? I don't know anything about credit score. I don't know
Hmm.
anything about credit scoring, right?
Yeah.
I'm using credit cards in not in the way I would use them now. I'm using credit cards in the exact opposite way of what I would tell someone to do now. I'm
Hmm.
using their money as it not like it's my money. It's
Yeah.
just extra money in my mind.
Right.
But at the time, I'm not thinking about 29% interest or whatever the interest were on those cards.
Hmm.
So what do I do as a young kid with credit and no education on credit cards? I run them suckers up, right?
Oh no.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I run them up. I mean, I think my highest credit limit at the time was $5,000, but most of them were around like 500,
Hmm.
$1,000, maybe 2,000. But I think most of them were somewhere around 500 and 1,000.
Hmm.
But when you start talking about 20% interest, when you start talking about paying minimum, the minimum amount on them,
Yeah.
$1,000 credit card can turn into a $2,000 credit card, you know,
Yeah.
but on the negative side.
Oh yeah.
Right. So it gets to the point where now I'm not paying these cards. Debt collectors are calling me.
Wow.
I'm not answering my phone. I have cell phones. I'm like one of those early adopters to technology. I'm one of those guys, right? So I
Hmm.
have a cell phone way back then. They call it my job. They call it my house. They call it my cell phones,
Wow.
right? I don't want to talk to these people, right? So it's like now I'm ignoring it. I don't want to look at bills. I don't want to do any of this, right?
Hmm.
So what ended up happening is pretty much most of them got discharged,
Hmm.
but not Target. Target waited maybe I'll say 2 years, and I get a subpoena from Target. Yeah, to go to court
Wow.
to handle this debt. Now I don't know what to think about this, right? And the worst about the situation is I could have paid them, right?
Yeah.
I just did it, right? Like I just did it. So when I went to court, they have a lawyer there. I don't have a lawyer, just me, the judge, and whoever else that this company that they're representing is suing.
Mhm.
Right? We're all
Right.
there. The judge asked me that I want to talk to the lawyer before we had any proceeding. I
Hmm.
asked the lawyer, could we pay right then? He just agreed to it right then. But what I asked him was, would they take it off my credit and we'd be done there? He told me we could do it. I literally walked to an ATM that was inside of the courthouse.
Yeah.
Pulled out all the money I could get. I had money on me. He rolled up the contract. We exchanged the money right there, and I was done with it at that moment.
Wow.
Yeah. The problem is, at that point, my credit score is like 300 and something, from thinking
Yeah.
everything that I had, right?
Jeez.
Because I
Yeah.
skipped a part. I skipped a part when I found out what my credit score was. It was around 760,
Hmm.
right? But all these charge-offs, yeah, I went down to I think 324, something like that. Yeah,
Wow.
yeah. Because the way that they do it is you have a 30-day late, a 60-day late, a
Mm.
90-day late. When it get to 120, they're going to discharge it.
Oh.
Right? They're either going to sue you or they're going to discharge it.
Wow.
Right. So once they discharged it, that's just it. And it just dropped your credit score. It's no 5 or 10 point thing here. We're talking about 40 points, 60 points, 80 points. Yeah.
Jeez. Yeah.
Yeah. So I go from that. I don't touch credit cards for years, man. I don't touch credit cards for years. I'm talking about 10 years or so. I don't touch credit cards.
I
I'm just
couldn't
straight
imagine.
debit and right.
Hmm.
Like none of these other creditors are bothering me. So I'm not thinking about it.
Right.
And one day, I'm just like, you know what? Let me try again. And what do I do being me? I try for another Target card.
Of
The
course.
same people who the same people who sued me.
Right. Of
What do I
course.
get? I'm approved for this Target card.
Wow.
Right? So in my mind, I'm like, if these guys approve me, I can try for someone else. I'm afraid because the reason I tried for Target because I was afraid to try for any major banks,
Hmm.
but I do shop at Target. So
Right.
that's why I did go there, right? For the 5% off.
Hmm.
Uh, the crazy part about that is the card ended up closing because I didn't use it. Even after they gave me another chance, the
Wow.
card even eventually closed it because I didn't use it.